Konbanwa. I am Gideon Fujiwara. I'm an associate professor in history and religious studies at the University of Lethbridge. I also serve as a member of the board of the Lethbridge and District Japanese Garden Society. So we'd like to now begin with a land acknowledgement.
Oki.
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 Oki and welcome.
We acknowledge that we're gathered on the lands of the Blackfoot people of the Canadian Plains.
We pay respect to the Blackfoot peoples past, present, and future. We recognize the thousands of Indigenous peoples
From many diverse nations,
call Lethbridge home,
including members of the Blackfoot Confederacy,
of the six gates of the Beat,
Adana,
Bigani,
Siksika,
Moscapi people,
as well as other First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples. We respect Indigenous peoples' cultural heritage,
beliefs,
truth
and relationship to the land.
that stretches back in time.
We will not blink at history.
We will not blink at history.
Then we will learn from it.
Oki is an invitation.
A step forward.
In Blackfoot, Oki means hello.
Oki means hello.
Hello. Oki.
Oki.
Oki. Oki. And welcome to the lands of the Blackfoot people.
It's now my great honor to welcome Elder in Residence at the University of Lethbridge, Shirley Croshu, Misa Niniskim, Ancient Buffalo Stone. Elder Shirley is a beloved and respected Elder in Residence at the U of L. She passes on the wisdom that she received from her grandmother and her mother on to our students at the U of L, both Blackfoot, Indigenous, and non-Indigenous students. And today, Elder Shirley Croshu will open this Golden Maple reception with a blessing and prayer.
Oki makes it quakes. It connects and makes it poa and not otakui. Excuse me, I'm tongue-tied now. Greetings, my relatives. And I would call you, we use the word Nixukua, which is my relatives. And welcome this evening for this session that we're going to have. Nistu Nidaniku Nisamaniskim. My Blackfoot name is Ancient or Longtime Buffalo Stone. Nistu Nidokruto Igani. Nichika Spoons. Ami Iniskim. My name is Shirley Croshu, and I'm from the Picani Nation, and I assist at the University of Lethbridge. His Blackfoot name is Iniskim. Iniskim is, like I mentioned, it was a sacred buffalo stone that came to the Blackfoot people, and we've always it has helped us in that, and it's going to help us in, as we journey along with all our students that are going to school at the University of Lethbridge. My life of prayer, I'm just going to give you a basic of what all of us were giving, to say a prayer. Our life of prayer is not, written. It's basically comes from the heart, and that's what we all know. Because we are opening our hearts and opening, to the source of all time, who we call Ichzibadapi. And we're calling on him. We're going to ask all the other spirit helpers to help us this evening. And we're going to thank them, and then we're going to ask for a blessing for the evening. And one of the most important things that, I was taught was that all of us safely arrived here from our homes. And so the blessing is that we're all going to safely arrive back home to our homes with the gifts of what we have learned here, what we have been given. And then we usually end off with a long life and the ending of a prayer. Now, one of the elders at the University of Lethbridge, Dr. Francis Firstcharger, wants everyone, when somebody's saying a Blackfoot prayer and they're finished and that, you take that prayer and you bring it to your heart, that you're accepting that prayer. And so, Ayo Stebadabiupa, Ayo Nabi Nadusi, Ayo Gimatsukisti Kumkutuk Binani. Ayo kipitaki wa kukumiki summa. Ayo no kimataak sa pinan, kimataak utok sa sawak pinan. Ayo ipisoak sa kimat sa pinan, kaskanata ni sa niya kitita padapi. O kibak sa ipisoak sa kimat sa makat pinana. Kistuan ni kinokitas pamuk pinan na paksap sa namis. Noktoka kiusa tupinan ni bad piosini. Ayo en nagnapi te piwak, en nagnach sa kakawak kayuak. Ayo kitkunin kitsi matpinan nokutakoy. Ay diokta peksin matsin pinan, en nikinokotan sa tukipinan en eksistikoy, ni matkunin sa pukski pinan. Ni matsita pa kutsimah pinan, ni matsita pa Ichwys dat ich binananik macht sogar besini bad pilsnik. Hai noch konek im matukinan, noch woman stotli chikakinan, noch woman stes homo kinanan nitsita bad ich binanik. Ai ukistua ki kokono watu ite piwas pua, enik kia koka peste makat binan, enonit sa kita bad ich binanik sahkoy. Oké, Venespo Mosanak Tanata Piwak. Amoksi, ich bin nicht ik kaksapi koanix. Oké, kinik matstika kanomian stika piwak. Ni ik zit ook aan pessiel zich hooggoedkenis. Ik geneem het ze met goa en ik nog iets van mogen aan, nog ze kim maar ook in aan. En ik ken ik kanade piwak na kuchaya, kaneka motach binan. Na kuchkuna en ik omanste isuka piwan ik niet bij de piwaksen zit op wacht. Ken ik achse is sinan satupi. En ik achse is suka satu. Ai nakatkunas kitipik pinano kunananas dan sitana saksti pinani. Nagukapit skatu pinana en ik kanesukapit. En ik zetusumatu pinani. En ik nagukzi aisukapin stunan ni bada piuksi. Ken ik achse is sinan satu. Eka isuka satu pikemik nisami bada piuksi ni stawatsimani. Yamotan. Thank you.
Thank you, Elder Shirley. Thank you for the blessing this evening, and thank you for starting our evening off in a good way. We are honored that you are with us tonight. September 30th was the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, and we wish to continue learning and reflecting on our responsibilities while honoring the Siksikapi peoples past, present, and future. I am Carly Adams, the director of Siksikapi, the Center for Oral History and Tradition, and a professor at the University of Lethbridge. And I am also a director with Gideon on the board of the Lethbridge and District Japanese Garden Society. We're happy to be here once again as your MCs for this evening. Thank you for joining us for the 2025 Golden Maple Reception and Lecture. This year, the event is a little bit different, with a beautiful meal first by Prime Catering, and it is set up this year as a fundraiser for the Nikka Yuko Japanese Garden. We'll hear more about that a little bit later. We're grateful for your support this evening. The Golden Maple Reception is an opportunity to recognize the contributions of Japanese Canadians to the local Southern Alberta community. We particularly honor the many people who came before us, the first and second generations, the Issei and Nisei, who persevered and helped to create a better society for all of us today. We also take this time to consider how Nikka Yuko Japanese Garden can continue to serve the local community. This evening, we are delighted and honored to welcome Dr. Kanako Uzawa from Hokkaido University and the Historical Museum of the University of Oslo as our guest speaker this evening. We would also like to welcome all of the members of the Japan Studies Association of Canada Conference who are also with us this evening. Thank you so much for joining.
We have a terrific program planned for the next 1.5 hours. Before that, we have a number of distinguished guests that we'd like to call up who will be bringing greetings. So to start off, I'd like to invite MLA, the Honorable Nathan Udor. And we appreciate Nathan's continued support of Nikka Yuko Japanese Garden.
Thank you very much. It is truly an honor to be here. I've shared at these events before, and I don't know if you've heard it before. I do apologize if you have. I have a very personal connection with Nikka Yuko Japanese Gardens. I had the honor, while I was still in my construction career, to work over 3 summers restoring it, getting it ready for some significant anniversaries, and the pleasure of going there at dawn, watching the sunrise over the mist on the lakes, and taking great pleasure to learn the right types of wood, the right types of materials, and the right forms of craftsmanship was a very special time. And now in this role, elected member of the Legislative Assembly of Alberta, to be able to work in partnership and make sure that we continue to support and restore and expand, to see the new building being built, the Winter Lights Festival and the success, and now the Golden Maple Receptions. It's truly a testament to what can be done when political ideology is set down and community and its benefits are put forward. Because there's so much more than just the beauty of Nikka Yuko that we celebrate. Of course, it's the cultural heritage and remembrance for the difficult times that Japanese Canadian people experienced after the Second World War and all through the 1900s here in Canada. And it's just terrific to see so many people out celebrating a very, very special jewel of our little city here in Southern Alberta. It is recognized as one of the best gardens in all of North America. And it's something that we should treasure and cherish. Take the time in summer or winter to enjoy its beauty. Take some time to enjoy the tranquility. It's very good for your mental health. And thank you for all of your support. Congratulations to one more Golden Maple Reception to Nikka Yuko Japanese Gardens. On behalf of the Government of Alberta, thank you again. Take care.
Thank you, Nathan. I next call upon Deputy Mayor and Councillor Rajko Dodic, City of Lethbridge. And we value the important partnership between Nikka Yuko Japanese Garden and the City of Lethbridge.
Thank you. There's an election coming up. This is my sympathy. Well, I'd like to, a little bit of shout out. I see the chancellors here, Terry Whitehead, and of course my colleague on council, Linda Grossen. And Nathan is sticking around. He was saying he had to leave, but I told him he has to stick around for my little talk. So that's why he's still here. Anyways, konbanwa. Thank you. So the mayor does send his regrets. He's another, actually it was a family function. So, but I'm pleased to be here for the 2025 Golden Maple reception on his behalf. I had the pleasure of visiting Japan in 2023 during cherry blossom season. That was absolutely fantastic. And my travel mates included two Japanese families. One was born in Japan, and the other one was shamefully transported from the West Coast to Southern Alberta. One of those families is here, Sonny Nakashima and Kim Nakashima, who are great supporters of the Nikka Yuko Japanese Garden, and especially the Festival of Lights. So that was two different paths to Lethbridge, but both were indicative of the will to succeed, and both have succeeded. And actually, Sonny, Kim, and I and my wife actually survived a fugu meal in Tokyo. And I would recommend that you can live after eating fugu. We are often reminded of the enduring contribution of Japanese Canadians to Lethbridge, or should I say Canadians of Japanese origin, and the powerful stories that shape our shared history. In 1967, we celebrated Japanese culture by nurturing into being the Nikka Yuko Gardens, Japanese gardens. And today it remains as wonderful as it was when it was just a dream. This year we are privileged to welcome Dr. Kanako Uzawa, whose work as an Ainu scholar, an artist, I have to mention that of course, an advocate, inspires us to reflect deeply on identity, representation, and the strength of Indigenous women, and in this case, Indigenous women in Japan. And her message resonates with our city's commitment to inclusion, cultural preservation, and truth-telling. Events like this remind us that storytelling, art, and cultural exchange are vital to building bridges across generations and communities. A heartfelt thank you to our generous sponsors for making this evening possible. Your support help us honor history, celebrate diversity, and create meaningful experiences for all. Thank you to the organizers, the volunteers, and everyone here. May we leave inspired to shape a future rooted in respect and collaboration. So on behalf of the City of Lethbridge, I want to thank Nathan Dudler for standing and sitting here through my speech. I'd like to thank all of you. And like I said, on behalf of the City of Lethbridge, the Mayor, the Council, all of our citizens, thank you very much, and I bring greetings.
Thank you very much for your support. So the University of Lethbridge is a twin sister to Nikka Yuko Japanese Garden because they were both formed in the Canada Centennial of 1967. And the University of Lethbridge has been a huge, important partner to the garden, as well as a real supporter of our JSAC conference. So now I'd like to call up Dr. Dina McMartin, Vice President Research. Thanks for your support.
Okay, good evening, everyone. It's so wonderful to have the Golden Maple reception at the same time as the JSAC conference. What a tremendous opportunity to bring communities together from across the country, the world, and from our community to celebrate this important event. This event is always a highlight of our university calendar because it is an important shared event. Starting with 1967, the beginning of our two organizations in a fledgling, smaller city that has more than doubled in size in that time, that has become more diverse, more inclusive, more engaged, and more community-minded. When I look at this city, and I've only lived here 4 years now, it is a community that inspires me. It is invested in each other, it is supportive of each other, and it is unflinching in recognizing our shared histories, the tragedies, the troubles, and the triumphs. And it is truly inspiring to have everybody here sharing in that knowledge and that experience this evening. I do always want to thank our elder Shirley Croshoe for opening us up in a good way. And having moved into Blackfoot Confederacy territory and learning about the culture, the people, the richness of the knowledge and experience here is truly an honor. And thank you so much, Shirley. And again, a welcome to everyone from JSAC. We're so thrilled that you chose to be in Lethbridge this year, celebrating with us, spending time in our community and at Nikka Yuko. We know this long shared relationship and we're glad that you're able to engage in it as well. At the university, of course, we have long-standing student and faculty relationships, mobility partnerships, and I think many of the faculty who are here this evening have been able to participate in that. And I'm just hoping at some point I get that opportunity too. I have not yet been to Japan, but I am very excited about at some point getting to one of our sister institutions over there. Those connections enrich our university community. They positively shape our campus culture, and they change the way that we think about ourselves and our history, as well as our future. We look forward to contributing together, working forward, and working alongside everyone in this room to continue to enhance the cultural opportunities for Southern Alberta. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening, and I am so much looking forward to this evening's keynote.
Thank you, Dina, and to all of our attendees from the University of Lethbridge. The Japan Foundation has been just a truly generous sponsor of the JSAC conference, and by extension, it's because of their support that we have our special guest here today, Dr. Kanako Uzawa. And so now I'd like to call up Executive Director of Japan Foundation, Noriko Yamamoto. Thank you.
Okay, so Oki, good evening and konbanwa. Elder City Harriet Croshoe, Honorable Nathan Nedrow, Deputy Mayor and Councillor Radok Dotik, and all distinguished guests. My name is all distinguished guests and community members. Excuse me. My name is Noriko Yamamoto, and I'm honored to greet you, everyone, on behalf of the Foundation at the 2025 Golden Maple Reception held as part of the JSAC Annual Conference. First of all, I'd like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the University of Lethbridge, Vice President Dr. Dina McMurden, the Lethbridge District Garden Society, President Ms. Dawn Imoto, and Nikka Yuko Japanese Garden Executive Director Ms. Michelle Day Miles, for the generosity in hosting us tonight at this wonderful reception. I'm also personally delighted to return to this city following my first visit 2 years ago for the opening ceremony of our touring exhibition, The Superlative Artistry of Japan, generously hosted by the Nikka Yuko Japanese Garden. During that visit, I was struck by the strong sense of community and how the history and narratives of Japanese Canadians are not just preserved, but actively engaged in relation to contemporary issues with Japan, and are also part of Japanese studies hosted by the University of Lethbridge. This meaningful approach of opening up Japanese studies to broader and more diverse audiences is, I believe, further deepened by learning Indigenous perspectives. Doing so helps transform Japanese studies from single country studies into a vibrant, dynamic field, one that resonates across disciplines and communities. With that, I'd like to extend my deepest respect and appreciation to tonight's guest speaker, Dr. Kanako Uzawa, for sharing her insights and wisdom with us this evening. Once again, I wish to sincerely thank tonight's host and organizers for making this wonderful gathering possible. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for your support always. Yamamoto-san. Now, batting fifth. That's for all you Blue Jays and Dodgers fans out there. Our fearless leader, president of the Lethbridge and District Japanese Garden Society, Don Sugimoto.
I am not fearless. Terrified. Oki, konbanwa. Good evening. It's my honor on behalf of the Lethbridge and District Japanese Garden Society Board to welcome you to our 9th annual Golden Maple Reception. To our dignitaries, our many special guests, the Japan Studies Association of Canada, the University of Lethbridge, to all of you, thank you for joining us today. I get the privilege of introducing you to people that if you don't know them, and I know many of you in this audience are new to Lethbridge, I'm going to introduce you to some of the coolest human beings on the planet. And seriously, if they're at your table, you're going to go home and talk about them. Okay, so I want to start by introducing you to our board, or as I call them, the best board in the business. Directors Rachel Hoff and Rob Jansen weren't able to attend this evening, but you've met Gideon and Carly. Crazy, right? We have both of them on our board. Like, that's an embarrassment of riches, right? Also tonight we have 3 other directors. I'm going to ask them to stand and stay standing for a second when I call them. Erin Crane is our expert on tourism, and she's also our secretary. Where is Tim Koba? Tim Koba, you stand up. Stand up and smile, Tim Koba. Tim is the master of all things financial. And then Janet Adachi Elkier. Where are you, Janet? Janet, stand up. If you visit the Bunka Center, Janet may be there, and her gift, and I mean gift, is that she can connect with people, all people, with her story and the way she shares it, and it's changing people. So, you've met our board. They bring an incredible depth of experience, expertise, and passion for Nikka Yuko, and I really am grateful to know all of them. Would you please give them a massive round of applause? So the Golden Maple Reception is our signature event, and it's a chance for us to do a few things. We honor our outstanding supporters. We recognize our long service employees, and we encourage dialogue in the community through really engaging speakers like Dr. Uzawa. I know that sounds like, oh my God, how long is she going to talk up there? But it's not as bad as you think. And I'm going to introduce you to really cool people. Let's all just remember this. I want to thank Executive Director Michelle Day Miles, her entire team, the Special Events and Exhibits Committee for organizing this evening. And thank you to all of the JSEC delegates for joining us. And thank you for letting me come to your conference. I've gone to some incredible sessions already, and we're only halfway through, so thank you so much. In addition to our awesome board, Nikka Yuko has some amazing supporters who've been honored over the years with an honorary lifetime membership. And I think we have a list of them here. So Dr. Masami Sugimoto, I wish I could say I was related to him. His vision for the garden design, he was with us in the 60s when the garden was built, and to this day, he's still deeply engaged in the garden and its care. Pat Sassa wasn't able to be with us tonight, but I think you might have seen her at a session today. Tosh Kanashiro, will you give us a wave, Tosh? I'm staring at you. He's right at this table. And no word of a lie, if you see him, you know, you're standing in line in the washroom, introduce yourself to Tosh because he is just like the nicest human being on the planet. And you don't know this, Tosh, but when I worked at the Herald, in that newsroom of cynical, black-hearted people, and you know, you meet people who are interesting challenges in your lives. I had a saying, for every Tosh Kanashiro, a little fill in the blank must fall. We can go to the next slide. You'll see we're missing pictures of Lyle Sakamoto and Dean Moriyama. They weren't able to be with us tonight, but we really got to get pictures of those guys. And then our most recent additions were Rick Williams and Tad Mitsui. Dr. Tad Mitsui, can you give us a wave, please? For all of you University of Lethbridge fans, he was given an honorary degree just over a year ago, so deserving. And Tad's the kind of guy that if you get into a conversation with him, you will, number one, learn something. And number two, hear a perspective that you wouldn't have gotten from anyone else. He's devoted his life to advocating for human rights, and he's the guy that we should all hope to be someday. All right, so, oh my goodness, what have I done? I am missing something. So tonight we get a chance to introduce our newest member of the Lifetime Achievement, lifetime membership. And when you meet this fella, if you didn't meet him already at this conference, you're gonna think to yourself, he's too young for a lifetime anything. But just wait until you hear all that he's done for Nikka Yuko. So he, Dr. John Harney is a professor of East Asian religions at the University of Lethbridge. Teaching and research, as many of you in this room know, very demanding jobs. But John found time to lead the Lethbridge and District Japanese Garden Society board through some really incredibly pivotal developments. He joined the board in 2012 and served as president from 2013 to 2015. He chaired the events committee that planned the 50th anniversary of the garden in 2017, along with many related events at the University of Lethbridge. And this wasn't any old garden party. Our city, Nikka Yuko, and the University of Lethbridge played host to Princess Ayako of Takamado. And it was the second time a member of Japan's imperial family has visited little old Lethbridge. How cool is that? That took the celebration to a whole next level. And there were several days of speeches and tours and dinners and festivities at the garden and at the university's campus. And I think John was at everything, right? You were at everything. Your family didn't see you for a long time. He was part of hiring our executive director, Michelle B. Miles. And man, that was a great hire, hey? Good job. Good job, buddy. We'll hear more about Michelle a little bit later. And what followed was a period of unprecedented growth. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find another organization that grew the way that we did in 10 years. John was on the board that approved the first Winter Light Festival, and that seems like, well, of course they would approve it. It was gutsy. That was a gutsy move, and we are still benefiting from that. Here. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so sorry. When the society got approval for a new building, the Bunka Center, John chaired the committee overseeing the $2.7 million building project. That building made the garden a year-round destination. It was transformational. John and the building committee took on designing the interpretive information in that building, telling the story of Southern Alberta's Japanese Canadian community and how our garden came to be. That building explains the why behind the what of the garden. And recently I had an opportunity to welcome a tour to the Bunka Center. Most of them were Japanese Canadians. Many of them had never been to our garden before. And one of the women on that tour told me she could feel the reverence in the building, reverence for the stories being told there. And I would say that that respect for people and history is really a hallmark of John's. Well, no longer on the board, you can still find John sharing his expertise, whether he's introducing an art exhibit or explaining the cultural significance of Godzilla, which may be my favorite thing. We're incredibly fortunate that he continues as a member of the Special Events and Exhibits Committee, which shapes the programming at the garden and plans things like this evening. John and his wife Lisa and their now adult children, Jack, Kate, and Olivia, build bridges and make stronger every community lucky enough to have them in it. Dr. John Harding, would you please come forward to accept your honorary lifetime membership?
Thank you so much. I just want to express my deep and sincere appreciation. As you can tell, listening to Dan Sugimoto, and Gideon, Carly, and all of the folks we've been introduced to, there couldn't be a more wonderful group of people to work with. Such a pleasure and privilege to be part of this organization and work with the Nikkei community and university community. So I will delay Uzawa Sensei no longer and stop there, because if I start recollecting things, it could go on a long time. Just thank you.
Okay, so add John to your list of awesome people you're going to seek out this evening and introduce yourself, because you're going to go home and talk about it. All right. We do have one very special employee being recognized for 10 years of service. In industries like ours, employees often don't stay for the long haul. Nikka Yuko's been really lucky. We've had 2 employees that have hit that 10-year mark and stayed, which is pretty amazing, I gotta say. So tonight, we honor our Executive Director, Michelle Day Miles. Woo. You all have to take note of this picture. She came to the garden for the first time as a wee bebe. And honestly, we wish she would never leave. It's no coincidence that the decade since Michelle joined Nikka Yuko has been one of unprecedented growth. Oh my gosh. Michelle is always future focused, progressive, thinking of ways not to just make Nikka Yuko better known, but she finds ways to elevate other tourist attractions, businesses, artists, organizations. She's the queen of collaboration, the master of networking, and I call her the CEO of Get Her Done. Woo! You know, she didn't just rush in with big ideas. She took the time to really get to know the Japanese Canadian community and culture, and she treats both with respect. And she really invests in relationships, and it shows. While she's changed the way we attract people to the garden, she hasn't changed the garden itself. She serves as a guardian for Dr. Masami Sugimoto's design, which was intended to stand the test of time, and it is what makes the garden authentic and special. People who work at a place like Nikka Yuko can be tempted to try to leave their mark on it. But people like Michelle know you don't make your mark on the garden, it makes its mark on you. We say Michelle is 1 in a million, She's actually more rare than that. This year, she completed the Certified Destination Management Executive Designation, which is the highest individual educational achievement in tourism. There's 450 of them in the world, so do the math. Michelle has let us know that she plans to leave at the end of June next year to start a new phase of life with her husband, Steve. And so we will face the difficult task of letting this woman go. But don't worry, Steve, we still love you. There's a heart-shaped rock in the garden that's a favorite feature of many who visit. And with that in mind, our 10-year service award is a heart-shaped little keepsake. I'll grab it here. I don't know if you can see that. It's beautiful. We know Michelle has poured her heart into the garden and our community, and when she leaves next year, settle down, it's not until the end of June, when she leaves, she takes a piece of our heart with her. Michelle, come on up, please.
I'm going to be short because tonight is not the night to say goodbye. I feel like the community is going to keep me busy until June. I have a suspicion. For anyone who knows me or has heard me speak at any event, one of the Japanese garden philosophies that I just really hang on to because it's true, it's does the garden reflect the community that nurtures it? That is the #1 philosophy of Japanese gardens. I just want to take a moment because I wouldn't be Michelle if I didn't say this. We have an election coming up. And I just want to say that when you go to vote, because we're all going to go vote, I want you to keep that in mind. Because the garden reflects the community that nurtures it. The city of Lethbridge owns that asset. And they lead the community. And it is reflected through the garden. It truly is. It's about relationships. It's about preservation. It's about the future. So thank you. And again, this is not my goodbye. But I just want you guys to know that when I do leave, it's the community that will step up, preserve, maintain, and engage, and continue to be reflected through the garden. Thank you.
Dang it, Michelle, you almost made me cry. I'll just take a minute. Okay, I am almost out of the way, and we will get on to Dr. Uzawa's talk. Just a couple more special things on a very special evening. First, we are thrilled to have a new Indigenous signature phrase that captures the essence of Nikka Yuko in the Blackfoot language. And I want to thank William Singer III. Can you just give us a wave, William? Just at this table, again. You are going to want to meet him if you don't know him yet. He's a Blackfoot artist and knowledge keeper. He's been working with Nikka Yuko to help build cultural understanding. And we do recognize the privilege that we have of being here on Blackfoot territory. You're going to hear a recording of William leading us through the pronunciation of this phrase. You can see it on the screen. It means we are all friends. Could you please play the recording a couple of times?
So I'm going to translate the friendship. It's pronounced Ihganatu Uwamotiyo. Ihganatu Uwamotiyo.
Do one more time. Play one more time. Say it out loud.
So I'm going to translate the friendship. It's pronounced Kanako Uzawa. Kanako Uzawa.
You know, I know that we worry about saying the word wrong. We don't want to be disrespectful, or we're afraid we won't remember it in that moment. But it's like anything new. We try, we learn, and we try again. And I think as long as we're learning about each other's culture, we can't go wrong. So thank you, William, for your help with that. I ganatsu go wa motsi yo. I do not have a gift for language. My parents spoke Japanese in the home, and I know foods, and I know when I was being bad. So we are all friends does capture the essence of Nikka Yuko. In Japanese, it roughly translates to Japan-Canada friendship. And that name was very carefully selected to refer to not just one-on-one friendship, but togetherness, fun, people together. So it also reflects our goal of making the garden an inclusive space where people can find a place to belong. So to help share this message of friendship and what makes the garden so incredible, we invited a diverse group of our friends to appear in a legacy video. If you pay attention, I think you're going to notice that some of the footage was shot on Saturday. And if you know video production, you're going to realize what a miracle this thing is. So we're giving you a sneak peek. I think you could count on one hand the number of people who've seen this so far. So let's take a look, please.
Here, we are all friends. Not by chance, but by choice. Welcome to Nikka Yuko.
Or Canadian Garden.
In a Japanese style.
From Hokkaido.
From Okinawa.
To Blackfoot territory, Lethbridge, Alberta.
Nikka Yuko. Ni. Yuko.
Nikka Yuko.
A name that bridges oceans and cultures through goodwill.
This is a place that honors what history asks of us. To remember,
To acknowledge, to welcome. This garden mirrors the soul of its community.
This garden is us.
We believe that time will reveal rustic beauty, watery sun.
Shake, the borrowed view.
Where our garden harmonizes with its surroundings.
Mie Gakure, hide and reveal. Our garden, like our stories, open page by page.
We reflect, we heal.
We gather and celebrate.
Here, friendship blooms in seasons. Through care and time, we've grown with the garden.
it calls on us not just to remember, but to belong.
Because here, we are all friends.
Friends together.
Welcome to Nikka Yuko.
Welcome.
Welcome to Nikka Yuko.
Oh, wow. Well, hey, as a first run through, that was pretty darn good. Thank you to everyone who took part in recording that video, and we will be sharing it more broadly in the weeks to come. And you know, if you are moved by what you saw, I really do want to encourage you to take a next step. You can become a volunteer at our garden. You can make a donation. You can become a member. You can just tell people in your circle about how cool some of these people were that you met tonight. When something like a garden's been around for more than a half a century, it is tempting to take it for granted. But the garden isn't guaranteed. It needs your support to ensure it continues to be an important tourist, economic, cultural, and historic resource in our community. Nikka Yuko reflects the community that nurtures it. We do need you in that equation. So please, let's continue to build on our friendship Congratulations again, John and Michelle. And now let's enjoy the rest of the evening. I'm really looking forward to Dr. Uzawa's talk. Thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu.
It's my great honor to introduce our special presenter today for the Golden Maple reception. Dr. Kanako Uzawa is an Ainu scholar, advocate, artist. She is the founder of Ainu Today, as well as CEO of Uzawa Consult. She is an assistant professor at Hokkaido University, as well as a researcher at Oslo University. And today, Dr. Uzawa will be speaking to us about her personal journey, including her grandfather's resistance to the building of the Nibutani Dam. She will be also speaking to us about the important work that she's involved in helping to reshape narratives in museums as an Ainu woman. And obviously as somebody with Ainu heritage and identity. She will be speaking further about her fight with her community, ongoing fight for rights in fishing access and in the repatriation of human remains. Just as a personal note, I was born in beautiful Sapporo, and today I live in the land of the Siksake Tutapi, Blackfoot people, and so I'm very eager to learn from Dr. Uzawa, from her journey, in order to inform my own of a people that faced great struggle with colonialism under the state of Japan, but a people who persevered and are reviving their culture and identity in a great way. So, without further ado, please join me in welcoming Dr. Kanako Uzawa.
Irankarapte. Irankarapte in the Ainu language means let me touch your heart. It's more than hello, so I like this. Irankarapte. Irankarapte. Thank you. Thank you so much for warm welcoming, and everybody, or a lot of people came to me and said, "Oh, I'm so looking forward to your talk," and that of course makes me very nervous. But your talk and welcoming was very warm, and I already feel a part of this wonderful community. So thank you so much for inviting me here today. Uzawa Kanako Sekoro Kerehean. That means in Ainu language, my name is Kanako Uzawa. Before I begin, I would like to thank Japan Studies Association of Canada, University of Lethbridge, Nikka Yuko Japanese Garden, and Japan Foundation, and Gideon-san, and all the staff who, for their generous support in making this event possible. I acknowledge that we are gathered on the unceded traditional ancestral territories of indigenous peoples of this region. I recognize the deep relationship indigenous peoples hold with these land, waters, and communities. As someone working with Ainu culture in Japan, I'm mindful of the shared struggles, resilience, and ongoing revitalization of indigenous peoples in both Canada and Japan. This is a moment to reflect, listen, and carry forward our shared responsibility for reconciliation and justice. Before I get into my presentation, I brought a very special instrument called mukkuri. This is Ainu instrument. You might have seen it if you have been to Hokkaido. Has anybody seen this instrument? Oh, there are actually several. Have you have them at home? Wow, really? Okay. So This mukri is used to express our feelings for loved one, for example. We didn't have a mobile phone in old days, so can be work quite well to send our messages to the loved one. Each person makes a different sound, and I will be making some sound, changing the tone, also closing my throat open and close and open. That changes the sound, and also I'm doing the sound of bear. Thank you. Okay, so I don't know how many of you have heard about Ainu. I'm just curious. Since many of you are Japanese expert, maybe. Yes, thank you. So allow me to introduce myself. My name is Kanako Uzawa. I am Ainu researcher, performing artist, and creator, teacher, and producer of film and animation. Dedicated to sharing Ainu culture with the world, much of my work takes place in art and museum context, where I bring together research and creative practice. My project extends beyond Japan to North America and Europe, drawing on the impression, lessons, and perspectives I have gained overseas to create a work grounded in both scholarly depth and lived experience. Through these journeys, I have learned the importance of Indigenous people voicing our perspectives on the matters that concern us. Equally important is our rights to decide how we share our stories and shape our future. This is my great-great-grandfather, Uesanashi. He was he lived in this small community called Nibutani in the military town. He was one of the first, he was very fine sculptor. So he was a carver, and in this community, there were lots of tourists, researchers, travelers, and he started selling his work to the museum collectors, some of which are now found in the world. For example, one of his work is stored at the museum in Milan, in Italy. And that's my grandparents and me being cute. And this is my grandfather. Everybody has somebody who inspires us, right? So that was my grandfather, Tadashi Kaizawa. He was a political leader in the community. Interesting connection to Canada, by the way. At the 15, I participated in an international exchange program in British Columbia, Alert Bay, alongside children from Nibutani Ainu language class. Thanks to grandfather, Tadashi Kaizawa, who asked Kayano Shigeru, who is another prominent leader in the Ainu community, to ask if I could come along. He said yes. There, I met indigenous youth, Kwakakwak, in Alert Bay, who share their culture with confidence. And that became a turning point in reflecting my own Ainu identity. Who am I? Am I Japanese, Ainu, or both? Later, as a student in Tokyo, I immersed myself in Ainu dance and cultural activities, carrying forward my grandfather's teaching to stand equal with Shisamu, which means non-Ainu. Education is essential, especially for women. His words remind me that our culture must be passed on through our own voices, which is why I stand here today with his encouragement to go for further education. So this is the community, Nibutani community, as I marked here. Nibutani is a small community of about 400 people, surrounded by nature and rich in cultural and historical significance. For me, it is both a place to return to and the home of my heart. The memories and lessons from my childhood spent in my mother's hometown continue to shape my work today. Nibutani is also Nibutani is the last remaining Ainu community in Hokkaido, so in that way it's very special. But this community is also known for this dam, Nibutani Dam. Nibutani Dam case stands as a reminder of cultural loss caused by state development in 1980s, 1790 and 80s, and the continuing struggling of the Ainu people to protect their rights, land, and way of life. The Nibutani Dam built on the Sado River in Hokkaido, and actually the dam was completed in 1997. This became a landmark case in the history of Ainu rights in Japan. The dam submerged area of Nibutani that helped profound cultural, spiritual, historical significance for Ainu, including sacred sites, traditional fishing grounds, and ancestral land. And Ainu leader, Kayano Shigeru that I mentioned, and my grandfather, Tadashi Kaizawa, were actually filed the lawsuits against against the Japanese government, arguing that this construction violated our culture and human rights. While the court did not stop the dam construction, dam's completion, it's 1997, we won the case. So 1997 ruling was historic. For the first time, that Japanese court officially recognized Ainu as indigenous to the land of Hokkaido with unique cultural rights. For a little bit about contemporary movement for political and legal rights regarding Ainu. As you can see, 8089 Hokkaido Former Aborigine Protection Act was enacted, which continued until 1997, which is also very surprising, replaced with Ainu Culture Promotion Act. From 1980s and onward, significant shift occurred in Ainu politics. This is a famous speech by Prime Minister Nakasone, 1986, referring to Japan as an ethnically homogeneous nation. In response to such views, Ainu leaders sought greater visibility on international stage. In 1992, Giichi Nomura of Ainu Association Hokkaido addressed the UN General Assembly that stating that we are not extinct. We stand here not as a ghost. When it comes to when it came into 2007, Japan actually voted in the favor of Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, which is commonly known in Canada, as I believe. Following year 2008, Ainu were officially recognized as indigenous people of Japan. And then about 10 years later, in 2019, government enacted another law called the Act on the Promotion of Measure to Realize society where the pride of the Ainu is respected. As it seems that those by having new law, it seems things are moving forward, but of course we have a lot of struggles. So from these defining moments in the 80s and 90s, the Ainu movement has continued to grow, laying the foundation for today's cultural revitalization. The Nibutani Dam Court ruling in 1997 and the Japanese government's recognition of the Ainu as indigenous people in 2008 and 19 marked further turning point. Now in 2025, Ainu communities are actively reclaiming language, art, and traditions while shaping new forms of expression in education, film, performance, and digital media. This revitalization reflects not only resilience, but also a forward-looking determination to ensure Ainu culture thrives in the present and the future. And I just want to touch upon the salmon, which is a staple food for us. Our philosophy is to eat all the part of the salmon. So the head, you chop it and mix with the salt and eat with rice. It may not look so fantastic, but it tastes good. Of course, we grill the fillet and the other part as well. We use also salmon skins to make a shoes for winter and the coat, but this is more common in the Saharin region. Oh, by the way, for those who don't know anything about Ainu, we call mainland, that's the Hokkaido, as we call it now. And traditionally, Ainu also lived in Saharin and Kurila Island. In Saharin, we believe that there are still Ainu descendants who identify themselves as Ainu. And we have distinct language differences between Saharin Ainu, Kurila Ainu, and within mainland in Hokkaido, there are also different dialects. We may be able to communicate, but we have different accent and the wording. And that's the ohau soup. We use the bones to make a bouillon for a couple of days and use a lot of vegetables from the mountain and the salmon fillet. Fishing rights. In April 2024, Sapporo District Court ruled that while the Ainu people have fished salmon in Urahoro is, I marked around Tokachi area there, since 17th century, their rights as indigenous people do not include the inherent rights to fish for commercial purposes. You know, we have also fishermen who do the fishing for the commercial purposes, who claim their rights as indigenous rights. Currently, Ainu are allowed a small annual salmon catch, around 500 fish only, for ceremonial use. But commercial fishing remains banned. Lahoro Nation, Ainu Nation, that's the group consists of those fishermen who are fighting for their rights to fish salmon in the river. So they argue that the salmon fishing was not only cultural, but also essential livelihood until it was prohibited in the Meiji era. So here the critics comes, including indigenous leaders abroad, say that ruling not only defines culture and ignores international standards, such as the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, which protect indigenous cultural and economic practices. The case highlights ongoing struggles over Ainu rights, self-determination, and reconciliation in Japan. When I just briefly touched upon this, I'm sure that it's not enough information. So on my website, ainutoday.com, I had advocacy section which talks about this fishing rights, both in English and Japanese. So if you are interested, please take a look at the website. And the Horo Nation, this group, even held the international symposium inviting all the indigenous leaders from overseas and listened to their cases and learned how to cope, how to fight for this right. That was in 2023. I would like to mention a little bit about the human remains as well, as this is a very important part of our history. It's not only for Ainu, but for other indigenous communities in the globe. So my first encounter with this issue was in 2021 when I participated in the Ainu exhibition in Cologne, Germany as an artist. But I ended up as more like a guest curator because they didn't have anybody who was knowledgeable about the Ainu situation. And Germany was a very special place because that was the first country who repatriated the Ainu human remains to the government of Japan and Ainu. So in 2016, they found 17 Ainu bodies being held in Germany by academic society, which was stolen by a German tourist in Sapporo in 1879. So this was returned to the Ainu Association of Hokkaido, which is the largest organization that represents Ainu people in Hokkaido and the government of Japan. This is a picture taken in Bendigo, Victoria, Australia, when I did an art residency there last year, September, where I also found out that in May 2023, Australian National Museum Australia and then Museum Victoria returned 4 sets of Ainu human remains to Japan for the first time in a significant repatriation effort. So these remains, primarily skulls, were taken from Japan to Australia between 1911 and 1936 for anthropological research by Japanese professors and other researchers. So I was there in Victoria or Bendigo, thinking I had 3 weeks of residency and free to create whatever I wanted to. So I was thinking, contemplate, what can I do here? And I went to the art museum, one of the biggest regional art museum gallery, and found this space, as you can see, filled with the European paintings from the end of 20th century to the beginning of 21st century. And there was a chair in the middle, and thinking, what's on earth those chairs are doing in the middle of the hall? Should I sit and look at those European paintings, painting by the Europeans? Some of which, by the way, were not pleasant to see, how they describe the indigenous people, First Nations of Australia. Then I was thinking, maybe I do filming here as I pretend I'm a human remain coming back to life, finding myself in the cold museum space and how I feel. So this is a performing interactive dance on Ainu human remains repatriation. I wanted to show this film. It's only 8 minutes, but I wanted to show the other film, so I have given up on this. And it's kind of heavy topic after a nice meal. So this is another. This is the most recent repatriation from Scotland to Japan. Neil Gordon Mallow. He actually was a very well-known doctor in this Nibutani community. He helped my grandfather too. He survived because of his help. And his grave, Dr. Mallow's grave, is just next to our family grave. But he's also product of this generation, right? Where people went abroad, exotic places, collected skeletons, human remains, and brought it back to the to sell or to donate to the museum. And so he was one of them. So I have very he's spoken as like a hero, but at the same time he did collect those human remains. So I have a little mixed feeling about him now. But anyway, three skulls were returned to Hokkaido now. And just to show you the image of resting place in the Nibutani, we have a resting place as well. And we have another one, 34 human remains sleeping in here, resting here. And all other human remains that we cannot identify are mostly stored at the Upopoi Museum, National Museum of Ainu, Upopoi Museum. They have a big, rather large facility there, waiting for them to be identified. It's rather difficult to identify. So if you're interested in some of my work, this is the name of the article. You can look into it. And then also, I want to move on to Ainu culture and indigenous rights. So my work is centered on delivering messages through academic research, artistic practice, or combination of both, drawing inspiration from the everyday impression and experiences around me. I believe the art has the power to reach wider audiences and communicate ideas in a way that words alone cannot. At the heart of my practice is the importance of recognizing a profound connection with nature and animal, and of exercising our rights to self-determination, to choose our own path forward. Through alternative dialogue with natural world, I believe we can shape a future that reflects our values and choices. Moreover, while culture and indigenous rights are inherently inseparable, they are often treated as if they exist independently. The Ainu worldview serves as a powerful reminder that all these elements, culture, rights, and our relationship with the environment are, in fact, deeply interconnected. I approach art and research as an interconnected way of knowing and communicating. Drawing on indigenous perspectives and lived experiences, I create work that is visually compelling, intellectually intentional. Through installations, storytelling, participatory project, I explore identity, memory, displacement, and social justice, crafting pieces that carry meaningful messages. My process blends creative experimentation with the research, bridging personal narratives, community experience, and broader cultural and policy discussions. My art is a practice of connection, where research informs creativity and creativity amplifies insight. So now I'd like to show you a trailer of two of my films. This is art film taken at the Historical Museum of Oslo, where I am affiliated. I found 27 Ainu objects lying in the storage, and I wanted to bring them back to life as a living object. So this is, it's not a description of the object as such, this is an art video. So I have added some narratives and images. It's in collaboration with Italian photographer Laura Riverani. So then we can take a look at could we have lights down, please? Ainu means human being, and we are a people of the north.
People say we're extinct and that we belong to the past. Each line of the tattoo represents our past. Each line paints our future. Each one of us has a voice. Each stroke tells us our continuous history, which connects us to the past and to the future. Do you remember the time we played together in the river? The wind caresses my face. This time you have brought your children and I have brought mine. Our memories create our future. We move like water. We move like birds. We move like leaves. We become one. We root ourselves to the ground. We build our lives from the ground. We stand firmly on the ground. We do not give up our land. Our traditional tattoo for Ainu women, Shinuye, which was taken away from us. Our tattoo keeps us alive. Our tattoo inspires us. Our tattoo reminds us of who we are.
Thank you. I'm moving to next. This is to next production. It's called Uko Upcas. That is to go to visit, to go back and forth. So it's my interpretation of culture exchange. So this is a documentary film, 1 hour. It's a free open access. If you're interested, I would be more than happy to share for you to use in your class or watch at home. The keyword. So this is a culture exchange with the First Nation in Australia. There were around 10 artists, and from Ainu 5, around that. So we spent 1 week in this, again, community Nibutani in art center. And we used a lino print as one of the techniques to create whatever you wanted to. But the keyword I focused, I was coordinating, but I was also artist there. And connections and sustainability. For example, material sustainability, using natural, local sourced material carefully, minimizing water waste, and respecting their life cycle of plants, animal, and other resources. Cultural sustainability, preserving, transmitting traditional knowledge, techniques, world view through art and design. Also, that's social sustainability, creating practices that support community well-being, intergenerational learning, ethical collaboration between indigenous communities. For me, this well-being is very important. In other words, one can say as mental health, for example. But art is actually my healing. So I use, this was a very nice way for the youth. There was a young artist participated and find a way to connect to each other even without the language. So let's look at the trailer. Could I have a lights? I cannot. Yeah, there you go. The workshop we had in Nibutani, Hokkaido was a transformative experience for me. And I like to believe that all of us feel the same. It was transformative because our indigenous knowledge, tradition, experience, and voice became one nourished artwork. An artwork we can all walk through, touch, smell, and feel. As my indigenous sister here, Maya Tiri, says, art is our life, and our life is art. In this workshop, nobody was trying to create something authentically beautiful, but rather something that tells our continuous life story over hundreds of years or even more. The narratives and stories are powerful and bond us together. For myself, I use my hands and hands tattoo from both Aboriginal and Ainu designs. By doing so, we brought our traditional practices back to life. My hands became a platform where living designs dance together. Two key words I want to talk about today are continuity and voice. Continuity because of who we are. Continuity because we are knowledge holders. Continuity because we pass on our love and passion to the next generation. During my youth, I searched for my voice. It took many years to find it. But then I started thinking, whose voice is it really? The question became stronger when I entered academia and museum world. Is it my voice, your voice, or our voice? Our workshop created our voices, which were expressed and presented in many forms and shapes. Voices can be spoken verbally, but it can also be non-verbal. Non-verbal voices can sometimes be more powerful than verbal voices. Here, I like to ask you all where your true voices are. Is it within yourself or within ourselves? I think and learned from this workshop that our prints became something that embodied our non-verbal voices and knowledge, which makes everybody feel part of this world and leading us to more innovative and creative future together. Okay, then next slide is about its ongoing project. I use the dance as the healing and storytelling and turning experiences of hate and discrimination in narratives for youth and indigenous communities. Now, extending into animation, I combine movement, visual media to amplify messages of empowerment, resistance, and hope, inviting audiences to confront prejudice, honor indigenous experiences, and imagine the path towards reconciliation. So this rimse, it's called, means the dance in Ainu language, is a Japan-Canada cross-cultural project with Japanese illustrator Saki Murotani, who lives in Vancouver. This story follows Urara, a 16-year-old Ainu girl navigating identity and cyberbullying. Isolated by online harassment, she embarks on a journey of self-discovery. Through dance, she reconnects with her ancestors and her heritage, finding resilience and empowerment. So the film asks, what does it mean to be Japanese? Leading to a deeper question, what does it mean to be Ainu, to be human? It bridges Ainu worldview and youth experiences in Japan. This is Urara that I created, the character. Ainu people remain significantly underrepresented in mainstream Japanese society, politics, education, cultural institutions. Despite recent legislative recognition and growing interest in indigenous rights, structural barriers, historical erasure, assimilationist policies have continued to marginalization of Ainu voices and perspectives. So there is urgent need for a platform that is not only include but shaped by Ainu individuals, particularly in areas such as art, academia, and policy making. The lights, please, again. Thank you. This is 8 minutes, by the way. It's a little longer.
Chi tapo re có e hu có se ni tay hao he mau newa hong shi no tan ma chi a o suku ai no ta có chekela Luciendo Udodano Kuta Letri Ala Huna Hui Kuta Letri Ala Huna Hui Kuta Letri Ala Huna Ala Kuta Letri Ala Huna Ala Kuta Letri Ala Huna Hutale ala hunna ala hutale ala hunna hutale ala hunna ala hutale.
毎朝、家の裏山に霧が立ち込めるとき、私は自分の名前、うららを一番近くに感じる。この名前は、祖母がつけてくれたもの。アイヌ語で、うららは霧を意味する。姿を消してしまうけれど、空気のようにいつもそこにあるもの。雪の結晶と朝日は、うららのおばあちゃんが毎朝作ってくれたおはを思い出させる。朝日のようにうららを少しずつ温めてくれた。おばあちゃんの愛が詰まったその食卓は、私の心を癒してくれる場所だった。そして、おばあちゃんの笑顔はいつも雪の結晶のように光っていた。 友達だと思ってたのに。うららって何人？日本人って何？日本ではみんなあなたは日本人でしょって言うけれど、その日本人って一体どういう意味なんだろう。日本で生まれ育って日本の国籍があっても言葉や文化が違ったら日本人じゃなくなるの？心の中で叫び声が響いた。胸がギュッとなって痛い。大好きなおばあちゃんとひいばあちゃん。そのおばあちゃんがしていたシヌイエは大人の女性の誇り、美しい女性の表現。私だってシヌイエ入れてみたかった。アイヌ語でアイヌは人間という意味。人間であるということは自分らしくあるということ。人間であるということは美しいものを見て感動し、美味しいものを楽しみ、自然の空気を肌で感じ、四季の移り変わりを体で味わうこと。私の名前はうらら。私の心はアイヌ。
Across the ocean, through the storm, across the desert in the sun. Now all my lovers left me. Every single word. Every single word. Now I wish I knew your name. Can we be one? Can we be one?
Commission work for the Ainu exhibition scheduled for 2028 by the University of Michigan Museum of Art. So it's going to be exhibited there. But me and Saki are also going to make a publication, audio publication, visual audio, this year, or next year maybe. Okay, so time is running. So if you like to look up more of my work, I have Instagram called Ainu Today and website that's for both Japanese and English. Scholarly section, we introduce all kinds of Ainu related article categorized by themes, archaeology, history, language, identity, etc. And time for dance. Now that all the food has been settled down and you're sitting for a while, so this is grasshopper dance. Ainu dance kind of represents the nature and animals. And I was very lucky to have assistant today, Hideo-san to Dan-san. Dan-san is expert on grasshopper, I heard, so I hope that you'll be dancing together. And this is actually for all of you. So I can start, and then I go around, and then around, and then everybody follows me. So I show you the steps. So it's very simple. 1 and 2. So 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. If it's too difficult, you can also do like that. But I'd be happier if you could do like that. So me and my colleague Michael, we made a remix basing on the traditional song. So music, please. Hideo-san to Dan-san. Also, please join. Can we have a louder music? so much. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you. Thank you.
You got a big
Dr. Uzawa, thank you so much. So Dr. Uzawa has agreed to take some questions, comments or questions. If you have anything you'd like to ask her, please. Yeah, we've got some mics. Oh, here. I see Aaron's hand.
Thank you so much for that. I wanted to ask about the tattooing and if it has now become acceptable and, again, welcome back into the culture.
Thank you. No. Oops. Sorry. Good. This one? I keep it? Okay. Tattooing is not, is still. Okay. Tattooing is, no, not really. It's unfortunately, it doesn't come back. But some artists, for example, do the tattooing on the hands, and because Japanese culture is very strict when it comes to tattooing, so that means that there's places that you cannot enter, and lots of social stigma. So it's rather difficult, especially the mouths, because traditionally the Shinuye was when you become a mature woman, like 13, 14, you get it as a symbol of maturity. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. Thank you.
Hi, thank you so much for your presentation. In 2000, I think it was 19, we had the Ainu people visit and meet with the Blackfoot at that time. It was actually a really wonderful introduction of two Indigenous groups coming together to learn more from each other. Do you or who are you currently working with in Canada to talk about like a global Indigenous kind of gathering and or working together to ensure that your common beliefs and your common arts are being shared with each other and spread around the world?
Thank you. I have, this Ainu today becomes like more like organization. It started off as just a website, just to share the information relating to Ainu people. But we have a team member from Canada, Scott Harrison. He's a historian on Japan, Northern Territory. So that, and also Professor Michael Hathaway from Simon Fraser University, we have been collaborating. He has been, I was actually in Vancouver a couple days ago to give a talk as well in connection to that. So, thank you.
Actually, a question, if I may, Dr. Uzawa. You talked about awareness and like visibility, and I've heard that in recent years, like there's fewer people reporting their Ainu heritage. I mean, for obvious reasons, the discrimination and the racism. But can you speak about what it looks like to you in the younger generations across the Ainu communities? Are people sort of visibly sort of practicing their Ainu culture, or not? Yeah, maybe speak a little bit to that.
So because of the animation called Golden Kami, you may have seen it. It has become very popular, and many youth, Japanese youth, are fond of Golden Kami and can come to Hokkaido to encounter or to meet Ainu, but without no knowledge. So yes, we have more employment in Ainu community because of the new law. We have new museum. There are lots of Ainu youth are working there. But when you receive the guests, visitors, sometimes they come without knowing anything about Ainu. So, they may address insensitive questions such as like, "What do you live in such a old house still? Do you wear this kimono?" And that kind of stuff. Do you live with a bear and stuff like that? So that kind of shows how poor actually Japanese education has been when it comes to the Ainu. And so many visible in a sense that many youth are working in tourism and culture promotion. But as soon as you start talking about rights, for example, or addressing hate speech, for example, then you may be targeted online. So that's the negative side of it.
Thank you so much for that. That was really interesting. You just mentioned the Ainu Museum, and I wondered if you could say a little bit more about that particularly. I love that you mentioned the museum or the cultural center in Alert Bay, which is really one of the first cultural centers in Canada that was run by Indigenous people. And so I wondered about the new Ainu Museum and if it's run by Ainu in terms of controlling the narratives, and if you could say a bit more about that.
I feel like I have my own personal view on it, but I'm not representing everybody's voice, so please don't take it as a representation of the voice. But now we got a new director who is Ainu, so that's a big step forward. And how much narratives that are embedded in the exhibition, for example, is a question in itself. Many of the Ainu creators, some of the Japanese, I think it's also a cultural thing, how the exhibition has been run and operated. It's very big different contrast between, for example, how the First Nations Museum or exhibition is held here in Canada. I see a great difference. In here, it's more like very natural to have First Nation creator, and they have their own narratives about the exhibition and treating objects as a living object, and even sometimes hold a ceremony and stuff. We are not there yet, unfortunately, but getting there, I think. Thank you.
You want to have one more question?
Thank you so much for your presentation, especially all of your art pieces. They're incredibly moving. Kind of with your mentioning of how maybe advanced, for lack of better words, our acceptance of Indigenous culture has become here. What memory would you have in particular with rediscovering your Ainu heritage, especially with your grandfather, that really propelled you into this project? It was kind of interesting to watch your own journey in rediscovering or like participating with your heritage. Was there anything that stuck out to you in particular that really wanted to reinforce that?
I think I was one of my grandfather's favorite grandchild. Youngest usually get most attention. So I followed him around, and because he was a plaintiff of this New Time Down, he had a talk with lawyers, and lawyers actually volunteered, so they didn't even get paid to work with him. So just listening to the conversations, and the people come to him and consult different challenges and stuff. I was just always there listening. So that kind of stuck in my head, and also this education. And there are not so many. There's still big difference between Japanese and Ainu who receive higher education from university. So when it comes to PhD, it's even much less. Like maybe we have 2 or 3, depending on how you defined yourself as Ainu, but the one who comes forward, I think we have maybe 3, 4 in the whole world. So, and I'm one of the English-speaking person. So that's how vulnerable we are at the moment. So I guess that he has influenced me quite a bit.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for sharing about your practice today. I was really struck about how multidisciplinary your practice is. You really touched on so many different mediums today, from animation to performance to music, dance. I love that you had us all participate. That participatory piece was really incredible, especially thinking about your work in reactivation, reclaiming culture, and social justice work. And I just was wondering if you could talk a little bit about your approach with working with different mediums and different disciplines, maybe where you started there and how you have worked across those disciplines to do your work and say what you want to say.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know. The funny thing is that I was invited as an artist in the Swedish National Theatre, together with the Sami people from Sweden, Sami indigenous people from Finland, Norway, and Russia, and Norway as well, of course. And it was a dance team. And the producer, she was doing this, and I was thinking, but I could actually do this. And then start thinking about it, sharing the idea with different people, and then luckily, many people wanted to collaborate with me on music or dance or theater, so I started kind of putting things together and then apply for the funding, of course. And luckily I got this commission work from the museums. I'm also a guest creator for the Michigan Museum of Art, University of Michigan Museum of Art, and also National Museum of Lithuania. I'm creating exhibitions. So, and then people start calling me as an artist. I said, I guess I'm an artist. So that's, I don't know, it's just felt natural. I was just putting my ideas and going by a flow, meeting people, and of course each encounter is very important, I think. So we kept in touch and continued dialogue and built on idea onto idea, and then became some shaped the project, I think. Thank you.
Thank you for your questions, and thank you for your answers, Dr. Uzawa. And I believe that, well, we're really honored to have many members of the Blackfoot Confederacy here in attendance this evening. And I understand that 2 members, Debbie Kelman and her mother, Evelyn Croshu Kelman, they're both members of the Piikani Nation of the Blackfoot Confederacy. And they have a special presentation to make to Dr. Uzawa.
I'm really honored to hear your story, and I can connect with your story because our cultures hardcore. And we're going to keep going. And our cultures are so important. All cultures, we have to tell our stories in order to understand each other. And that's what I'm presenting one of my dolls that I made. It's my art. And it's my way of saying thank you from my people to you. Here's a doll. I have a heirloom from my great-grandmother. She made a doll for my grandmother, and then we passed it on down. And from that, I incorporated other wear, their clothes. And I'm really, because that has a eagle feather on as well. Yeah. And we have, our culture is sharing and giving away. So we're always giving our best away. That's what my grandmother used to tell me. If you want to give something to somebody that means so special to you, you give your best. And that's what I did. Thank you.
Thank you again, Debbie and Evelyn. Thank you so much. And we now like to call back up Dawn and Michelle.
Dr. Uzawa, could we just ask you to come up one more time? I feel like we've all been treated to something very special tonight. And I thank you for showing us again how music and dance, they really transcend language and culture. It was a very special thing for us to do the grasshopper dance with you. Thank you for doing that. And this is a little gift for you from Nikka Yuko Japanese Garden. This is a picture of the pavilion in our garden that was built in Japan, dismantled, and rebuilt here in Lethbridge. It's a It's from one of our former board members, David Tanaka, but the artist is actually Karen Brownlee, who was a Lethbridge artist as well. So it's a little piece of Lethbridge for you to take home with you. We wish you all the best in your struggle to keep your culture alive and known, and have that, what comes next is that sovereignty and the ownership. Best of luck to you. Thank you so much. This building was built in the 1960s, would I say 65? 65? 1965, built in Kyoto, taken apart, shipped to Canada, and then rebuilt here by 4 craftsmen from Japan. And it still stands in our garden here in Lethbridge. Okay. Thank you so much.
My time. Okay, I've already told everyone to vote, so got that out of the way. Michelle's down. I just want to reiterate what Don Sugimoto said about volunteering for the Nikka Yuko Japanese Garden. The other person that has received the Heartstone is Mana Yoshimoto, who is here tonight. I'd like Mana Yoshimoto to please stand up. And no pun intended, but she has been my rock, my understanding of Japanese culture. And I want to also iterate that Mana has taught me a lot about the diversity of Japanese culture. So I appreciate her and all the dedication, loyalty, hard work, and everything that she has shared with me. So thank you, Mana-san. So please do reach out to Mana if there's a program, if you want to volunteer, if you have a skill set, if you want to be part of that garden reflection, please do please reach out to Mana-san. Also, if you are interested in sitting on one of our board committees or the board itself, we're looking for an accountant. Anyhow, but I plug that in there. So please do reach out to Don Sugimoto at president@nikkayuko.com. And for the next slide, I am very excited to announce 10th anniversary of the Winter Light Festival. And this year's theme, building onto the 4 seasons, is we are celebrating Hokkaido, because it is Hokkaido and Alberta's 45th anniversary of sister prefecture province relations. So this is going to be big. And I just want to recognize again Sunny and Kim Nakashima, who have been there from day one. Day one. I had that trust, right? That I had a vision. I was like, hey, I have a vision. And those two came to me first and supported the Nikka Yuko Japanese Garden Winter Light Festival. So I can't thank them enough. November 28th, it kicks off, so please mark that on your calendar, and please purchase your Fuyu Winter Light Festival passes so you can enjoy our events and festivals and products and experiences for December, January, and February. And last but not least, again, this is one of our biggest fundraisers that help goes to support the special events and exhibit committee that Dr. Carly Adams and Dr. Gideon Fujiwara are co-chairs on. Funding that goes to the garden goes to programming and exhibits. That funding helps us tell the story and continue to build on those stories. Your funding matters. Your funding does become a part of that reflection. And if the funds are not something that you can donate at this time, then what you can do is share your story. And then I will direct you to Dr. Carly Adams in the Center of Oral Histories and Traditions and Dr. Darren Aoki to share your story, because I believe you've captured over 100 stories. 150 stories of people from our local community, so that is absolutely amazing. I think I've said everything, and so I will toss it out to end the night with Gideon or Carly? Sumo for it. Tad and Yuri are into sumo. They were the ones that brought sumo to the garden, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, thank you everybody for a wonderful evening, especially to our elder, Shirley Croshu. Your blessings to Dr. Kanako Uzawa, all of our special guests, all of you who came out tonight for this wonderful evening. Thank you so much. Have a great evening, and